Hello everyone, this is TechSent, and let's continue with this Python tutorial. We spoke about lists in the last video, so today let's talk about two non-primitive data type called tuples and sets. Right now, let's start with tuples. Now, we know how to define a list by using brackets. So lst equals brackets 1, 2, and 3. Right now, to define a tuple, we need to use parentheses. So tup1 equals parentheses 1, 2, and 3. Tup1 is a tuple, and to define a tuple, we need to use parentheses as mentioned over here. First, tuples are immutable. You can't change them using bracket notation. That means in a list, we used to do lst index 0 is equal to 4. What I'm doing right now is I'm changing the first element, which is 1, to 4. So if I print my list, I should get 4, 2, and 3. That's because I changed the first element, that is 1, to 4. But let's do this bracket notation on tuples. Let me just delete that and write tup1 index 0 is equal to 4. Let me print my tuple. And do you think it will work? Well, let's try. You see, we got an error. That means we cannot change the element inside of a tuple because tuples are immutable. Now you may be asking, are tuples useful? Well, they are useful whenever you have data you don't want to change. Let's say you wrote a code and you don't want the user to change this data. Well, you will put your data inside a tuple because the data inside tuples are immutable. But we can use bracket notation to fetch individual elements. Let's say I print tup1 index 0, I should get number 1 because it is at index 0. Let's say I use negative values, I should get 3. And yep, I did. Let's say I mentioned the start, which is 0, colon, and the ending, which is 2, I should get 1, 2. Yup, we did. Right now, let me show you the methods or functions we can use on tuples. Well, we only have two functions, and let me show them to you. Let me write tup1 dot, and you can see we only have count and index. All the other functions are actually magic functions, which are more advanced, and we will not talk about them in today's video. Instead, let me use the count function, and what this function does is it will count the number of occurrence of a number. Let's say I said number 1 and I modified my tuple and add another number 1. I should get 2. That's because number 1 appeared 2 times in my tuple. Let me use the index function, tup1 index of number 1, and what it will do is it will return the index of number 1. In my case, it is 0. So we will get 0. Alright, tuples are immutable. We cannot modify them. We can use bracket notation to fetch individual elements or a range of elements. We only have two functions, which are count and index. And right now, let's go to the next section and learn about sets. In this section, you will learn about sets. A set is a collection with no duplicates. That means all the elements inside of a set are unique. Let's say in this list, I had number 3 mentioned 2 times. To remove the duplicates, I can convert my list into a set. Let me show you. So set1 equals to set lst. And what I'm doing right now is I'm converting my list into a set. So let me print set1 and we should get 1, 2, 3. And yep, we got it. And I've got to tell you that sets are defined with curly braces. So let me define a set for you right now. Set2 equals curly braces 4, 5, and 6. Right now what I did is I declared a variable called set2 and I've assigned to it a set containing 4, 5, and 6. Also, sets are unordered collection. That means the item inside sets are not in sequence, so we cannot use bracket notation on them. In list, we use print lst index 0 to get or fetch a element, and we got 1. But in sets, we cannot do that, and let me show it to you. Set2 index 0, and I will get an error. But we can always use the in keyword to check if a number is in my set, like print 4 in set 2. And I should get a boolean value, which is true. That's because 4 is in my set. In lists, we use append and remove to add and remove elements, while in sets, we use add to append a new element and remove to remove an existing element. Let me show it to you. Set2.add, I'm gonna add number 7. And let me print my set, and I should get number 7. Right now, let me remove number 7, and what could I do is, I could use the remove function. Set2.remove number 7. Print my set, and I don't have number 7. Those are very basic functions you can use. Now, where sets shine is on the number of mathematical operations they can perform. Let me show you. I can union two sets using a vertical bar, and this will return a new set that combines all the elements of set 1 and set 2. Let me show it to you. So print set 1 vertical bar set 2. And what we should get is set 1 and set 2 all together. Next, we have intersection. So if I print set 1 and set 2, that will return me all the common elements in set 1 and set 2. So let me show it to you, and we have 1, 2, 3 because they are the common elements between those two sets. Right now, let's find the difference between those two sets. To do that, I'm gonna write print set 2 minus set 1, and I should get 4. And the reason I wrote set 2 minus set 1, that's because I'm asking Python if all the elements of set 2 are in set 1. Definitely not. That's because 4 is missing in set 1, and we will get 4. Next is symmetric difference, and it is referenced by a caret. And we should get 4. What means symmetric difference is it will return the elements that are either in the first or the second set, but not both. Now, I've showed you how to union two sets to find their difference, intersections, and their symmetric difference. Right now, let's say you don't want to memorize their symbols. Well, you can always use functions. Set 1 dot, and you can see we have a lot of functions. And we just saw the intersection symbol, which is the and right now we have it as a function. So if I press on it and type set2, and first I need to print it. So print set1 intersection set2, and we should get the intersection, which is 1, 2, and 3. You could also write difference, and you have it over here. You can also write union and also symmetric difference, like so. Now that we are talking about functions, let me show you some other useful functions. I could use the clear function to clear a set. Let's say I said set2.clear, and then I print set2, I should get an empty set. And we got an empty set. We could use the copy function to copy a set. Let's say I declared set3 equal to set2.copy. And when I print my set3, I should get a copy of set2. And yup, we got it. I could use the update function to add all the elements of a set into another set. Let me declare a new set. I'm gonna call it set3, and I'm gonna set it as an empty set. And if I said set3.update set2, what will I get is all the elements of set2 in set3. And what we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, which are the elements inside set2. I can use the isDisjoint function, and this function will return true if both sets have a difference. Well, let me print set1 isDisjoint set2, and what should I get is true. That's because we have a difference between set1 and set2. And to prove that to you, I could use the difference function to find the difference between those two sets. And I should get 1, 2, and 3. And yep, we got it. I could use the isSubset function, and this function will return true if the elements inside set 1 are contained in set 2. Well, let's see. Set 1 has 1, 2, and 3. And set 2 has them also. So definitely, this function will return true in our case. So let me print set1 is subset set 2. What we should get is true. And because set 1 is subset set 2, that means set 2 is superset on set 1. Let me prove that to you. Set 2 dot is superset set 1, and we should get also true. And the reason we got from the is superset function the value true, that's because it is like an envelope. Inside set 2 you will find the elements of set 1. Alright, that brings us to the end. In this video we spoke about tuples and how to use them, and finally we spoke about sets. Okay, thanks for watching. This is Texan, and see you in the next one.